What up, y'all? It's Snow the Product, and you're kicking it here with my boy Nick on Hard Knock TV, and we got a great interview coming.
Take us back. Imagine a biopic of your life. The intro sequence is coming into your childhood home in San Jose. What are we hearing? What are we seeing? What are we smelling?
Mexican food. You're smelling Mexican food for sure. Hearing mariachi, I'm sure, or like my mom liked a lot of like Sonora Dinamita and stuff like that, so you're hearing definitely Spanish music, and a lot of people. So like when I was really little, like when I was in San Jose, all my family was always around. So my mom is the oldest of 9, my dad's the oldest of 9, so that was a lot of people, and they were the first immigrants to come here. So every single younger sibling has like moved into our house till they get on their feet and then they move out, you know? So I guess that's where, so my, what's it called, attachment issues come from. It's like people would move in, I'm like finally getting used to them, and then they'd always move out. So it would be like, oh damn, like, you know, I love the feeling of a big family or like a lot of people in a house. And yeah, that's pretty much what you're seeing. Just a real super Mexican household and a loud ass little girl running around.
On IG, you posted, I don't know if it was this time period or a little bit later in your life, you posted that the bathroom was the only place where you could get some alone time.
Yeah, forever. Yeah, ever since then. But I think when I was little, I was just happy to be here type stuff. So I didn't have to lock myself. I think it was more like when I was a teenager, you know, because then we moved to San Diego, and like my parents split up, and just, you know, like my mom would be dating someone or something, like I don't know, dude or whatever, and like we're just kind of like in a 1-bedroom, and it's me, my mom, whoever they are, my brother, and there was never a door to lock. There was never anywhere where you could just be, you know. And I think the bathroom was the only place. So I would take a little like, you know, speaker and just listen to music, or somebody burned me some like instrumentals, and like I would sit there writing my shit. I thought it was like the hardest shit ever. I read it back sometimes, like I'll find some old notebooks, I'll be like, wow, that was not good. But yeah, that was where I went to just kind of like think.
That's crazy. You're the second rapper. I was interviewing an Argentinian rapper named Duki this week, and he said that he wrote his first 3 songs in the bathroom of his parents' house because it was the only place where he could get some peace of mind. But
yeah, and even now, I think, you know, because touring is overwhelming. You know, I always have a lot of people around me because I don't like to feel like, you know, like I'm just by myself. Like I love to have people around me, but I do just get away, and that's where I go. Like, you know, the bathroom is, I don't know, even on tour, it's just, or backstage at shows, it's just like a place where you can just for sure be alone, recharge your energy, and then go back into the world, you know, and be cool. What's in your musical DNA? Like if you had to like deconstruct your musical DNA, like what artists do you think are in there? Definitely some M, definitely some Selena, definitely Miss Lauryn Hill. Like I feel like that, like discovering her kind of like shifted a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Like I could have rapped about anything, I could have talked about anything. Like I'm pretty creative, so like I could have said anything. And it's like hearing a woman tell you to like value yourself and everything, like that definitely like struck a chord with me, and it made me feel like, okay, out of the spectrum that you can be as an artist, like I like this, you know. Obviously some of my angry raps too because of M, and I don't know, just there's a lot of Spanish. I love Alejandra Guzman and Gloria Trevi. They're Mexican artists, and they were more towards like the rock like look and alternative and everything, so that's where you can always kind of like see with my shows, or with headbanging and crazy hair and, you know, doing all that. Like I've always loved to see that like powerful woman type shit, you know, like don't give a fuck type shit. When was the first time you heard somebody rapping in Spanish? Rapping in Spanish? Dang, when was that? I'm assuming like some sort of like Chicano rapper, probably. Like, you know, like Little Rob or something, or Big Pun, but Big Pun didn't rap that much in Spanish. Like, I think if we could really, okay, because I'm trying to be very factual here, El General would have to be it. El General was technically rapping or whatever, and like, una libra de cadera, no cadera. Like, I was like, oh shit. That's why I feel like I always wanted to have more of a like vibe to songs than just, you know, just straight up rapping. I come from wanting to do boom bap and battle rap and whatever, but like I always wanted to kind of swag it out, because when you would hear in general, or Biggie, or like anyone who kind of like does that, I feel like, yeah, that entered my psyche too, and it made me want to rap different.
I grew up in the Bay, so you definitely have a lot of Bay swag too.
Yeah, there's that. If you were to like go back to like my old music, there was a lot of very like pimp and hoe lyrics back in the day, and I'm like, yo, we really did grow up on like Too Short and like 40 Watt's Mouthpiece and Mac Dre and like all that being able to talk that shit, it just comes so easily. But I moved to Texas, and then they were like, you rap too fast, and like the beats are too, you know what I'm saying? It was all like West Coast shit. And I don't know. I love that I've moved so much, because my shit just always changed. I've never been the same, and it's just like always evolving.
I feel like they've been telling E40 that his whole career he raps too fast.
Right? Yeah.
But I love his line. He's like, I don't rap too fast. You just listen too slow.
Yeah, for sure.
Going back to the Latin side of things, I used to tune into the Wake Up Show all the time, because on the Wake Up Show, I would hear the Mexicans, Delinquent Habits, Big Pun, the Beat Nuts. The first time I heard Latin rappers, I felt even more of a connection, because I was like, oh shit, they're talking about some of the stuff I went through. I would think with all of the Latinos who grew up on hip hop, there'd be more Latinos in mainstream hip hop. And
Yeah.
I feel like we're not seeing that as much for some
You
reason.
don't need us. You got OT Genesis, YG, and fucking, who is it? Tyga, you know, like all those images and LA and what it is, and like all, you know, like accents and talking about, you know, it's being represented. So I feel like a lot of times maybe major labels just kind of don't see the need, you know? But I think as Latinos, like, it's up to us to really support it. I think in Mexican communities, there has been a lot of Mexican rappers and like Latinos that have been trying to come up or whatever, and I think sometimes we have a little bit of like, he ain't shit, you know. It's kind of like when your own hood doesn't really like support you that much, or like, you know, wherever you're from, like you have to sometimes move away in order for it to kind of happen. I saw that happen because I used to sell CDs on the street, so like I saw people not fuck with me, so I moved. And when I moved, now all of a sudden I'm the new person, and now all of a sudden they miss me, so I was like, oh, okay, like I gotta move, I gotta give people something to miss. I always rapped in Spanish since I started, but I figured like a lot of people weren't really supporting it, so I started doing this over here, and then like I'll switch back over to over here, and now I'm doing a lot more bilingual. And it just, honestly, you just gotta fucking move around, because that's the only way that people are gonna miss you and want you to do something. Then they ask you to do Spanish, then they ask you to rap Mexican shit. When you're doing it too much, sometimes they just be feeling like, nah, that's corny or like whatever. But at some point you give people something to miss, and then they support it. And honestly, that's what we need for more Latino and Mexican rappers to come up, is our own people to support it, because you can't be begging these labels, you can't be begging other races, you can't be begging anybody else. We need to support within our own, and it's gonna fucking happen. To hear Drake rap in Spanish, which to me Drake is like a fucking GOAT, like to hear certain artists like have to come to the Spanish, it's been great. Like I feel like we're in a way better place than we were. You know what I'm saying? Like we were in a, I don't know, in a shitty place in 2020, even though it seems like super shitty. I think there's a lot of changes happening, and a lot of like independent artists coming up, and a lot of more representation, and a lot of, you know, people getting called out, and big companies being called out. And, you know, like it's hard for there to be representation in major labels when I'm being told by a bunch of people that don't know about the culture what I should do for the culture, or when I'm bringing something to the table and be like, yo, this is necessary for the culture right now. They're like, nah, it doesn't really, you know, fit what we're trying to do. And it's like, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get what it's about, and it needs to be said. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think it's gonna happen though. I feel good. I'm doing better than I've ever been, so that's a good sign.
For sure. When you went to San Diego, what introduced you to hip hop?
My homegirl let me have some CDs because I couldn't afford it, and she just gave me a Big Pun CD, an Eminem CD, Lauryn Hill, Lil Kim, and who else? There had to be some Pac in there, some sort of mix, because I know I heard other stuff, but that kind of like was, Outkast. Best thing anybody could have done. Like, I'm gonna buy that bitch a car. Like that literally, that's all I had. So I would just on loop, just keep playing it. And it's just like, if you think about those names and those things, like at that time, that was like the greatest music to make an artist. You know what I'm saying? That was the ingredients. So it was lit.
What was the moment you decided you wanted to rap?
I don't even remember very much, but I know Jay-Z said something about Latinos, and I know Pac said that line about Mexicans. And I know that made me, I remember what I felt for Selena as a little kid. And it's like, I was like, there's not that for us, you know, like that listen to rap. And I wanted to be that, you know what I mean, to like other people. And my dad was always a singer. My dad wrote songs and stuff. And like, even though he did mariachi, and it's like, I did that as a little girl, I just couldn't relate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to do what was now popular. And I wanted to matter. And I felt like making music and rapping seemed to be what you could do to matter. You
were going to college to be a social worker. Mm-hmm. What made you stop that and dedicate full time to the music?
I was helped by like social workers and like counselors and stuff, and like I went to psychiatrists or whatever you go through to like, you know, be not depressed. And so going through all that stuff and like talking to people, I figured I wanted to do that for other people, you know, and like I said, I wanted to matter in other people's lives. So what better way to talk to like teenagers than doing the cool shit they want to do, you know? If you have some like old person come in the room and tell a bunch of 16-year-olds like, you know, this is what you need to do, they're gonna be like, you don't know my life, you can't relate to me. But if I come in as a rapper who literally is living the life they want, and I tell them, yo, this is what you need to do, they might listen. So that was the thought behind that, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's the only reason why sometimes, you know, I think as an artist, it's very easy to stray from just being an artist, because I know that what I got into this for was something bigger and something else. So sometimes I don't write music as much as I probably should, because I'm like thinking of other ways of like how I can impact people, or like at what time is it the moment to jump into this next chapter, you know? So I think a lot of kids are, you know, reaching out and being like, yo, like, you know, your podcast helped me, or your videos helped me, or your vlog, or your music, or whatever. Like any way that I'm helping somebody, like it just feels good.
How did your parents react when you told them that you were going to drop out of college to be an artist?
Oh, my mom didn't want to hear from it. My mom was like that I'm going to fail. My dad said the same thing. You know, I was driving a bum ass car, could barely make it up the hill to go up to the college. And then I got a ticket, and I just was like, oh, this isn't for me. There's signs everywhere. I'm not supposed to be here. So I had a friend named Lisa, and she was one of my friend's parent, and she was like, I really believe in your music. She's like, I can help you in anything. She's like, I don't know nothing about music. She's like, but you know, what do you need? Like some clothes so you can, you know. I was like, I don't know. And she helped me, and that's all I needed, was a little vote of confidence from someone, and that was it.
Do you remember the first song you wrote?
It was a remix to Hood Hop, and I don't remember everything about it, but I remember that I said, oh shit, it's the Claudia Dun Dada, fuck the side order, I'm the whole enchilada. I think I've used a few enchilada lines throughout my career. Yeah, I like enchiladas, they're really good.
Let's talk about your creative process. Do lyrics come first? Do concepts come first? Do you have to hear the beat? Like, what's your creative process like?
It's all over the place. Sometimes it's the lyrics, sometimes it's just the necessity to get a feeling out, or like a vibe. That's why like on my shit, or like certain songs where like I know what I want to do, like I'll even start the beat, even if I'm like, okay, I'll give it to a real producer at some point and then they can keep it going. But sometimes I just end up keeping it, because sometimes the simpler that the beat is, the more that I could just talk my shit. Sometimes I just find a fire ass beat that I'm like, dude, I gotta do this, you know? And it's like, it's a little more difficult if you have to live up to a beat, because I'm like, yo, I don't want to fuck this producer's beat up. Like I have respect for like somebody making such a dope beat. So it's all over the place. But I do know I like to mumble track most of the time. Like I like to come up with the cadence at least, or the melody, and then I drop the lyrics.
So when you say mumble track, you hear a beat and then you find that pocket first? You kind of like mumbled out, like to catch that flow, and then you fill it in with words? Yeah, like that's a good morning for me. Is like I wake up, I drink coffee, I go in the studio, I put on a beat, fix the auto-tune to be where I need it to be, and then I just go in there and just start mumbling. And then more than likely, the first thing I mumble ends up being what it needs to be. Like sometimes I'll switch it a bunch of times, and then I end up going right back to like the initial thing, because it's like that was the vibe, you know? So it's cool. One of the things you're known for is your rapid fire delivery. Like, is that like you said, listening to the Bay, because a lot of rappers are rapping fast, or how did you come across like that being like one of your signature things that you wanted to do?
I just talk fast. Like I talk fast, I think fast. Like I'm very, you know, like I drink a lot of coffee. Like I'm just already there. So whenever there's a beat, I get bored and it's just easy for me to talk fast. So I don't know. Like, it's not like I think about it. It's funny because I don't collab that much. I wish I did, but like I don't really collab with my peers that much because I don't reach out. But when I do talk to anybody, I feel like the tracks they send me are always some fast rap. Like, it's their fastest verse they've ever rapped and they send it to me. And I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, you already rapped for a minute and a half, fast as fuck, and now I'm gonna go on there and just continue? I'm like, bruh, the song's done. You got it. You won. So I don't know. I don't know why I'm known for rapping fast. It just happens.
I feel like on the track with Joel Ortiz or even like Tech Nine or like a few different ones, it's like,
yeah. I think some of it came from the need to prove myself back then. I don't think I rap as fast now, which is why a lot of people are like, I miss old Snow, you know, from fucking whatever. And it's like, I needed to prove that I was good because I was a woman, because I was not black, because people assumed that I was white, because of whatever insecurity that I felt like I needed to prove that I was a good rapper. But nowadays I'm just like, if I want to, I will. If not, I might just sing. I didn't know where to go. That had no fast rap. It was just, you know, fun. But I don't know. Oh, Waste of Time. I guess Waste of Time was kind of fast. A little bit. It was like singing, auto-tune fast. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just do it.
That's a good way to go. If I had to put you on the spot and have you pick a favorite verse of yours, what verse do you think would come to mind?
Shit. I don't know. I'm pretty good. No, I'm just joking. I don't know. For so many different reasons, there's so many different ones, you know? I do like On How I Do It. First of all, that's kind of cheating because the verses are really long. So I said a lot. But I like How I Do It because I'm saying a lot of like facts and being fast, but still being kind of bouncy about it and just kind of like claiming my shit and like owning my shit. Because I'm a legend, but y'all ain't gonna see it till after I'm gone, but that's just how it go. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't care to be one if that's what it takes, because my kid gotta grow. But I'm gonna talk my shit and I'm gonna rep like I always did. Still gonna flex with that Mexican drip. Still sing Chente when I get lit. This new to y'all, baby boy, I've been, but I rep that flag even way back when labels said, baby, this ain't it. Now they trying to make another me. Oh shit, hold up, goddamn, can I get my cut? I really mean that shit. I really mean that shit. Like, can I get my cut from everything that I've been doing? Because now motherfuckers want to do what I've been doing and act like I don't exist. Because there be people doing, dead ass doing interviews and being like, there's no voice for us, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the one. And it's like, bitch, so all these fucking years I've been doing this shit and I've been fucking claiming and repping and talking my shit. Now everybody going to act like I don't exist. Y'all dudes are fucking shady. Everything that I've been making, they be taking, what's up? They want our culture, but don't show love. They want our money, but they don't want us, bruh. Facts. Because I feel like there's a lot of, I said that. That's what I was trying to say on the BET cipher when I was like, you know, there's capos and chapos and narcos and, you know, but they don't give a fuck about us. Everybody want to talk about their plug is Mexican and they're from Colombia or they're, you know, this and that. And everybody got certain shit. And it's like, at what point are we not just the plug? Are we not just the bad bitch? Are we not just the side bitch because you want a Latina? You know, at what point are we like actually respected? Like, you know, or are we just the cooks and the, you know, the fucking fruit pickers and, you know, the gardener and shit? And it just is ridiculous. Even, bro, I was watching, and I don't even know if this is gonna start shit, but I was watching the What's Poppin' video. And I've heard the whole time, I've heard Latina, you know, he won a Latina, and I'm like, hey, Latina's winning, you know. And then I watched the video, and the Latinas turn into maids making his bed. And I was like, damn, bro, that was the one moment I was like, yo, there's a new rapper, and he's talking about Latinas, we lit. And then now they're the maids making the bed. And I'm like, none of the other bad bitches was making the bed, ever. Just that. I was like, damn, which I'm sure he still loves Latinas, and I'm sure he didn't even think about it, whatever. But I'm just like, I remember the time when they tried to make me be the maid in a video. I was like, bruh, I had to pour water for Snoop Dogg and Lil Debbie. Is it bad to say this now? Should I not say this? That's just how it is in the industry. These are things. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. He said, here we go. No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the shit that like people don't think about. that it maybe that person, maybe that video, maybe whatever, don't think about it. It's just like, oh, it just happened, and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. But I think as a Latina or like as a Mexican person that's been seeing this type of shit happen, it's kind of engraved in you to be like, ooh, like, or like, what the fuck, And when I was gonna do that Colt 45 commercial, and they're like, oh, okay, well, how about Lil Debbie and Snoop Dogg sit on the chairs, and then you come up and you have a pitcher of water and you're pouring, and then she has a cup like this, and then Snoop Dogg is smoking and he has his cup, and I'm like, so just the Mexican rapper's gonna be the maid in the fucking photo shoot. And I had to step up and be like, you know what, this might not look good. I know y'all might have not thought about that, but just as a Mexican person, I don't feel like I should be the servant right now. So how about I sit right here? And they were like, all right, yeah, we didn't think about it. So I don't know, sometimes just that's the type of shit that would happen at labels, where when you don't have Mexican or Latinos in certain positions, they can't tell you how it's gonna look. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, maybe don't have the, person doing that. But when you were saying about Blackout Tuesday and everybody was saying like labels should do more, I do think there needs to be more diversity. I do think there needs to be more. If you're gonna have Black culture being marketed and sold, there should be more Black people telling you how that should happen. If you're gonna have Latino culture being marketed and sold, you should have Latino people telling you how to market that and how it might look good. And I'm not talking about Latino people because their cousin's grandpa's dad. I'm talking about people that actually know. Like, when I dropped I and I'm talking about the culture and I'm showing you like this is necessary. I had a Puerto Rican person tell me, nah, not really. And I'm like, I get that you're Latino and I get that they sent you because you're Latino and they think, but you also don't understand that me talking about ponte a trapear, ponte a limpiar, like pantalones rotos and all that shit. Like when I'm talking about certain things, you might not get it, and we have this conversation. He's Puerto Rican, I'm Mexican. And in my label that we're doing, I need to have people representing certain things. I don't want there to be these mistakes that people make, and I know I went off on a tangent. But
I think it's an important tangent because, it brings up another fact, which is that the U.S. just kind of puts all Latino experiences as one. And it's like there's such a vast diaspora from different countries people come from, different shades of Latino. Like when people are like, Latino support Black lives, like, well, there's Afro-Latinos also are part of being Latino. Like there's a complexity to our culture that I don't feel like we're really having those conversations in mainstream ways where the masses can understand. We all fall under the Latino umbrella, but we also have our own identities. And you've said it in a few of your tracks where you talk about, how can we all come together? Todos Latinos somos unos. You have
on Despierta.
On Despierta.
Where I said Trump se va a acabar el puto mundo. Yeah, we was talking about that. I agree with you. And I think that it has to be in a more positive way, because I think Latinos are very fiery. Obviously, we're known for we got a lot of pride and we this is us, So I think it has to be a more positive conversation of how to unite with and still acknowledge our differences. Because when we just sit here and the only time we bring it up is when we're mad or when we're trying to separate, like, no, I'm not that, I'm this, the dialogue just gets a lot worse. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what's been going on with the Latino culture, is like we really need to come together, because obviously we know, like, if you're from Florida and you're Cuban and there's, your parents are Republicans and Trump supporters, there's a big difference of like cultures, and like, do you even give a fuck about a Mexican issue in, San Diego? Or it's hard. It's difficult to fucking put all this shit. And in the industry, I think that's what I meant by they want our culture, but they don't show love. They want our money, but they don't want us. I've had those calls. You've had those calls. How do we get in the Latino? The Latino is big right now. There's a lot of money in that. How do we got to get the Latino fan base? But it's like, okay, but what are you really looking for though? Like, are you just looking for the money? Do you even care about any of the culture of it? Like, do you want people who actually voice? I actually hit up somebody recently, had a brand. They're culture appropriating. The whole thing is just Mexican. Everything looks Mexican about it, but you're just like, you don't even give a fuck. Like, you like the colors, you like the skulls, but you don't, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that does infuriate you, because as people who a lot of times get looked at as, animals or whatever the fuck Trump has called us, like, it's infuriating that the cool things that we have, the Taco Tuesdays and the shots and the tequila and the senoritas and the Cancun vacation and whatever the fuck you got, like, you love that, but you don't, and you love to put it in the music videos and you love to rap about it and, Taco Tuesday songs and Tyga with Bitches Go Loco and all this shit. And YG, I was looking at Mexican rappers and literally YG popped up first with his mariachi hat. And my mom was like, oh, that's a Mexican rapper right there. I was like, he is. I was like, this is what it is. And believe it or not, we need that. We need that. We need the 6ix9ine. We need them. We need YG in a sombrero. We need people to let people know Mexican culture is cool so that when Mexican rappers come through, people agree. Because for a long time, we were just looked at as less than, as a Mexican rapper, we were looked at as like, what? Why would you even think you can rap? But now that people bring us up and we the plug and we this and we that, now it's time for us to step up and let's hope we get the respect that our culture that people appropriate get.
Yeah, the YG conversation, I mean, not just YG, is a complicated one for me because I appreciate that he's showing homage.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, sorry.
At the same time, I have issues with how he's showing.
No, I feel fine about it. Because people have asked me, and mind you, you didn't ask me the 6ix9ine question, which is great because usually people want to make that the title, and I hate that because it's like, I'm not agreeing with dude. I'm just saying that was necessary. It was necessary to have a Mexican dude be huge. It was necessary to have Migos and YG and Tyga and everybody talk about Mexican shit or plugs or whatever. It was necessary because for a very long time when Chicano rap was out, people literally would just write us off. When I was selling CDs and they'd be like, oh, all right, well, what does it sound like? I'm like, well, I'm Mexican and this, I already know what that sounds like. So you know what I'm saying? It was very it was easy to just not give a fuck about us. So we are needed to be represented by everybody. But at some point it does become, okay, so now when I come out and do the same thing because this is my culture, so let me do it, am I now corny because somebody else already did it and they did it cooler, so now I can't be myself? It's like, it's a hard place to be at. But I've been doing this shit. I've been doing all this Mexican and repping and whatever, and nowadays you got people waving Mexican flags and shit that don't even give a fuck about the culture really. They're just doing it for the sake of getting some money out of it, and it's corny. I see a lot of corniness going on in the industry right now, and it's like what's happening is the first people to say something just get their head chopped off. So it's almost like this, we need strength right now. We need strength in numbers, we need support, we need people to say something so that our voice can be valid. Now, I'm not trying to say it's not valid, and I'm not trying to say we're not strong enough, but that's why I said at the beginning, we don't need other people to give us the cosign yet. We need to figure this shit out within ourselves. We need to strengthen our fucking people because there is a lot of social media justice warriors that are out here. The moment I say something wrong, they're chopping my head off, and it's like, what have you done for the culture at fucking all? Because you're here to correct anything I say, but you ain't done nothing. And that's the problem within our own community. We're more willing to hate on each other and to nitpick little bad things than to actually fucking do something. And that's why people are going to keep taking things and doing it incorrectly, and we're not even going to be able to say nothing because the moment you do, my career could be over. That's it. I say the wrong thing, my career's done. And that all those years of trying to build something to have a valid voice are gone because, like I said, people like me end up getting fucked over by our own people, But I don't know, man. I'm trying to just be happy that I'm even here. There was a lot of years I wasn't even eating off this shit, and now I'm like, we good.
Everybody is worked so hard to get here. It's like everybody's scared. Well, if I do the wrong thing, I might not be on air. When Black Lives Matter happened, there was a lot of reggaeton artists that were quiet for a long time.
I think I was one of the first people that mentioned that, and I knew I was like, yo, people are gonna come at me right now for saying this, but I had to say it because I follow a lot of the people who put those people in those positions, and those people won't put me on a playlist, but they'll put this person on a playlist. But then they'll tell me in a DM how important I am to the culture, but they won't publicly do it. So it's one of those things where it's like people be given the roses in public for certain things, but they don't do it. And I'm like, care more for our voices that we need. It's our fucking responsibility to care for the voices that we need to pop off. And that's why I've always given props to Ida, because she did bring me on Big Boy. She had that position and she did that, you know what I'm saying? And to me, that's so important. And it's important for me to publicly always thank her because maybe these other motherfuckers will learn, you know what I'm saying? Or this, you knowing the history of my shit and putting me out there. It is important for us to support each other because it hasn't happened. And the old way that people used to do it in the industry was I'm just happy to be here. I don't want to lose my job. I'm lucky to be the Latino here. So it's like, you know, people need to grow some balls and just be like, nah, dog, like we gonna do this shit. The culture's important. People know that shit, you know, and it's gonna happen little by little. And I'm happy that it's happening a lot more now, you know. 2020 is a weird year. It's like bad, but it's just been so good. I don't know. I just bought a ranch, bro. I'm trying to run away from everybody. Like, fuck everybody. You get me out of my ranch, it's literally to do like interviews or whatever, but like, I'm so happy that I have a little bit of land to just get away. Same.
That was my dream, moving from apartment to apartment growing up. Like, my dream was to own a piece of land. And I finally did. I was like, okay, I have my own little space in the world that I can claim as my own.
Hell yeah.
I actually have a few different songs, verses that I want to talk about. I'm a big verse guy.
He's about to pull out everything. Oh shit. All right.
One of my favorite verses that you did is actually not your song, but you're featured on the song, is on the Hamilton mixtape.
Oh yeah.